So everyone should be seeing now my browser screen, and I am within Microsoft Teams. Now the reason we start in Teams, it is because Teams is the unified collaboration platform for Microsoft, and now we are embedding our OnePlan solution within Teams. So in this case, we have a lean PMO. We've started with a SharePoint form that we've also integrated within the environment in order to show how we can capture ideas and also register our portfolios and our value streams for our lean portfolio. I'm not going to go into the details of the solution. I just wanted to point out that if you happen to have a demand management process and forms, we can definitely integrate that within the solution. If not, you can use the capabilities that we have within OnePlan to do that. And again, we stress SharePoint because it's universal. Pretty much everyone has SharePoint within their Office 365 account, and as you can see, you can integrate it directly into Teams in order to make that experience available for everyone. I'm going to move away from it, but I just want to point out that you can see here that whatever fields you want to capture and show within your forms, you'll be able to do that as part of your ideation process. Again, this is the funnel bucket within Lean Portfolio Management that we're going to address with ideas. And again, it's within SharePoint. So, but you can see also at the top that I have all of my areas of work, either applications or content areas within Teams for Lean Portfolio Management. So in this case, I'm going to hit Portfolio, which actually takes me directly into OnePlan. So this is OnePlan within Teams, and again, we're trying to drive collaboration. As I said, it's a modern, integrated, collaborative, best-of-breed platform that we're providing to do your top-down portfolio management, as well as your bottoms-up work that's coming up from the different teams that are working on value streams and applications. So in this case, I have 3 different portfolios, as you see. Just to give you a quick overview of the user interface, we provide the ability to see items on a list form. You'll see here that we have board. Within here, we have the ability to have different views depending on what you want to look at. Board being your traditional Kanban, and then the ability to also see roadmaps. You have dashboard, which would allow us to see reports directly from Power BI, in this case, embedded within our OnePlan application. So on the left-hand navigation, again, for OnePlan, we have, if you want to capture timesheets, we do have timesheets in the system. This is important if you want to track actuals by managed time period. Portfolio is the view that we're currently in. And from here, I can also look at resource plans for at any level, really, of the hierarchy. And I'll talk about hierarchy in a second. We have our scheduler, which is the ability to assign or book resources directly to projects or epics. And then we have our plans, which are either, in this case, projects or epics. And finally, the resource center, where you can see how the resource profiles of folks in the portfolio application. In this particular configuration, we have portfolios, value streams, epics, and we go down to features. So that's important, and we'll show in a second why, because we actually want to not only show our portfolio backlog, but also show our program increments of features that are going to be delivered. We've included here projects just to show that if you happen to have NFRs or anything that is not managed in a Scrum Agile fashion can actually be brought into the OnePlan solution, and you can see it in its waterfall form within the Lean portfolio. And so I'm going to open it up just one more level so you can see that here we have projects underneath our upgrades and migrations value stream. And if I go under my Fabricam value stream, you can see the epics that are actually underneath that particular value stream. So we've gone from portfolio to value stream to epic, and those are the three. And if we go one more level, you can see that we have features here also showing. So those are the 4 levels that we have within this demonstration. Now, as I've opened this, you can see that the rest of the summaries are showing in this particular view. We have estimated end dates, budget, benefits, what bucket we are in, the program increment, and the wish shift for prioritization. I'm going to go ahead and collapse this just so that we can focus on a particular level. So the benefits of using OnePlan, first of all, if you're tracking, if you want to define the level within the Lean portfolio management, you can. So you see here as I open up my quick guide on the left here for the portfolio, and I'm going on quick cloud and mobile first, I can actually see all the different actions and all the different objects that I'm tracking. So if I go to details real quick, I have my portfolio definition or portfolio canvas, which is the artifact that is prescribed by Lean Portfolio Management, Safe Lean Portfolio Management. And you can see that I have a number of different fields that I can complete. These, by the way, you can, they're obviously editable, and you can define them as part of the configuration of the tool. But it's important to note that we have, the ability to follow and have at the portfolio canvas level, the form, so that you can have this be shared with the rest of the organization. If you go back and go down one level, we can do the same thing at the value stream level. And again, we have a number of different fields that reflect our development value stream canvas. So again, again, these are editable in terms of being able to insert any type of information. Obviously, they're reportable. I'll note that if you wanted to actually do portfolio budgeting, you can also do that. And you see here that we have a budget for the actual value stream. So the value stream is going to be made up of the budgets for the solution. So you can actually define a value stream budget, and these cost categories and cost types are editable. And you can see that we can also track budget, forecast, and actual. So this is a very good way of being disciplined about tracking your portfolio budget. If we go back to a portfolio, we will go one level. We can go down then to our epics, and you can see here that this particular value stream portfolio has a number of different epics. And similarly, we have forms for our epic definition, and the epic definition also follows the Lean portfolio Kanban. So you can see here that we have this particular epic is in the implementing stage. We do have the ability at the epic level to define financials, resources, even a schedule and reporting. And as I showed before, the Lean business case now is shown, because this is the way that we are going to actually define our epics within Lean portfolio management. And you can see here that we have these initial fields come from our what's called our epic hypothesis statement, which we define within funnel. And then we have more numeric and objective criteria for defining whether we're going to move forward with the epic or not. In this case, we are already implementing, so we've actually gone from analyzing, so the go no go actually took place, and we're actually within the implementing phase. If we go here within financials, we see that we have a budget, and if we go within resources, we also have resources that have been defined for the epic. So we will use that later to do our prioritization. We can at any level if we want to just focus on that particular level of the hierarchy. So you can see here that I just by going to plan type, I can focus on that particular level. And I have epic here, but I could easily go to features, which are the features that we're going to focus on from our program increment. And let's go back to our portfolio so we can drill down and see what we can do. If we wanted to actually go to the epic level and do prioritization, that was kind of a first exercise that we can do, because OnePlan provides you with the prioritization features. So if I select prioritize here, I can start looking at what my WSJF levels are, and you note that I have here the levels that were defined when the epics were defined, and I can see that my support customer mobile is actually at a position of number 7 within our prioritization, when it actually has a value of 5, and it actually has some of the largest benefits that we can provide, and is actually implementing. So I think what I'm going to do in this case is simply move it up to a higher position so that the rest of the organization sees that it is important to us. So I've gone through and done that prioritization. The other exercise that I could do is actually see what the resource load is. So I'm going to deselect prioritization and go to my resource plans. And I can focus on support customer mobile, which is our most important epic right now. And we can see that there are some teams that are actually over allocated. And I can see that support customer mobile, which is work assigned to team 3, they really don't have enough capacity to actually work and support customer mobile, because they're also doing another epic that has to do with sales reports. And I can't actually get to that particular epic here. You can see that I have it's an epic that is actually off track. And it's still an analyzing, which, it's still not actually implementation. So I think what I'm going to do for sake of this exercise is take it off and see if I do that, I not only I relieve the over allocation that I have on team 3. So I can go ahead and deselect the epic and then save it as a scenario, in order to let the rest of the organization know that we're just going to hold off on our epic for reviewing sales reports. It's off track, and it's creating an over allocation. So in order to meet the priority of my support customers using mobile, I'm going to go ahead and not execute my sales reporting epic that I have here defined. So that's one exercise that I can complete in order to remove that over allocation. The other that I could have done is add additional work. So I could go to my resource plans and then have another team participate. So we have team 1 here. It looks like team 2, for instance, now has capacity, since we removed removed the work also from the sales reporting epic, and now I can actually also assign them to it. So that would be another way of providing more capacity to the epic. So I'm going to go and also show, let's go ahead and click off. We are at the epic level, And if I wanted to actually see how all these epics are going to be reflected within my Lean Portfolio Kanban, I can go here. I've switched the board. Instead of portfolio, I'm going to be looking at epics. And I can see here that epics in their Lean Portfolio Kanban are being shown. And support customer mobile, which is right here, is the one that we're most focused on. It is an implementation. So if I wanted to actually look at here's all of its metadata that we were looking at in the form. If I needed to edit any of that quickly, we are in good shape in order to be able to deliver all of the features that are within this epic. And if we wanted to also look then from a program standpoint, how the features for that epic look, here we can then go to our feature backlog, and these are the 5 features that are currently in play for our support customers using mobile. So our program increments are shown, the summaries for budget are shown, and you can see that we have different metadata for each of them. And we can go back also if we wanted to, and look at them in more detail if we wanted to by just going into feature. And likewise, as I stated earlier, we have the ability to define metadata for the feature. Now, at this level, we recommend that we work directly within Azure DevOps. So here, if we go back and focus on the team specifically, so here we have our support customer mobile team. We can see that that particular epic has integrated Azure boards within its teams, and we can come in here and see the specific work that's being done. These are the same 5 features that are being built as part of support customer using mobile. And if the product owner, Scrum Master, Epic owner wanted to actually come in here and see specifically the work that was being done, they can go back and forth between Azure boards and OnePlan. The data is integrated, so they can easily work within teams on both the work that's being completed in Azure boards and making any edits accordingly, as well as the OnePlan resource management capability and budgeting capability, both at the Epic level as well as it rolls up to the value stream and portfolio. So if we go back to our Lean PMO teams, we have also within teams the ability to integrate Power BI. So I'm just going to show here an example of how we can look at the different epics within reporting in Power BI. So all of the data that is coming from Azure DevOps, as well as being generated top down in OnePlan, can be reported on within Power BI. So this is a content pack that we developed specifically for the solution, and it's entirely editable and can be changed to meet your specific reporting requirements. We have here on the bottom, you can see the tabs that are part of Power BI. We've used Power BI. This is pretty standard in terms of having different tabs that reflect views and dashboards that you're interested in. Here we have an Epic dashboard. Our Fabricam Epic Fabricam value stream is actually shown here with all of its epics underneath. If we actually wanted to focus on one particular epic, we can, and bring in the data for support customer using mobile, which is the one that we are most interested in. And again, any of the summary attributes that are being tracked in either Azure DevOps and metrics that are being tracked in Azure DevOps and OnePlan can be reflected in a very simple Epic one-pager like this. If we were looking at resource information, We can look at resource plan versus capacity. In our case, we're looking at team number 3, and you can see that we're doing okay here in terms of capacity and demand. They're pretty much going to be allocated entirely to our support customer mobile epic. So there's that particular view from a resource standpoint. We have a number of different resource dashboards that are available. This one here, again, we can drill into our team 3, which is really the one that we're focused on, and see if during the period of time that we're going to be working on support customer mobile, we have the capacity. It seems like we do have capacity, so we're going to be in good shape. And if you wanted to actually share reporting outside, this is also part of Power BI, as I said, so you can access Power BI externally. And you can see here that we have a dashboard that has a more summary metrics on the entire lean portfolio. Here we have ROI versus risk, but you can also view different metrics. Our project ROIs are showing here. If you wanted to actually track burn up and burn downs from Azure DevOps, you can bring those metrics here and do that accordingly for our particular epics and sprints. Issue count, if you wanted to summarize that. Here's our prioritization scores in WSJF, which is our really the focus of our webinar, in terms of being able to use not only WSJF scores but also any type of prioritization that you want to perform when you're actually defining your epics. You can do that and then have them reflected in reporting within the tool. Let's go back here. If you want to track issues and risks, those are also available, and we can report on them accordingly within our content packs.